Welcome back, treasure hunters, coin collectors, history lovers, and curious viewers who just might have a fortune sitting unnoticed in their change jar, because today we are diving deep, very deep, into the unbelievable world of the 1991 mint mark P $quarter USA coin that has shocked the numismatic community with eye-watering valuations soaring to a staggering $9 million because of its mysterious minting errors, rare production anomalies, and shocking backstory that has experts arguing, collectors scrambling, and everyday Americans rummaging through drawers, pockets, and long-forgotten savings boxes, hoping the next record-breaking treasure is hiding among their spare change. And while a normal 1991 quarter is just worth 25 cents, in the rare universe of misstruck, misprinted, double die, off-center, planchet error, mintmark shifted, metal composition anomaly coins, one extraordinary specimen can be the difference between pocket change and generational wealth. So let's dive in and uncover how a simple coin minted over 3 decades ago in Philadelphia, marked with that tiny P many barely notice, became the center of bidding wars, authentication disputes, expert debates, and dream-chasing frenzy, starting with the unexpected reality that the 1991 minting year falls into a unique transitional era for American coinage, when the United States Mint was upgrading machinery, phasing older equipment out, implementing tighter production standards, experimenting with compositions and metal layering, and adjusting dies and mintmark punching techniques, creating just the right chaotic mix for errors to slip by undetected, meaning surviving high-grade or uniquely flawed coins from this otherwise unremarkable year instantly draw enormous attention. And though people assume the most valuable coins are always the oldest, like pre-1900 silver pieces or colonial coppers, the shocking truth is that modern coins with extraordinary errors can eclipse them in price. Because rarity combined with an error that is visually dramatic, historically explainable, and legally released into circulation becomes a one-of-a-kind trophy, which is exactly where the 1991 P quarter comes in, particularly those coins displaying extreme off-center strikes where Lady Liberty's portrait is shifted so far left that part of her face seems cut away, the rim vanishes, and date digits bleed into the blank border of the planchet, or those shocking double-die obverse examples where the word Liberty appears shadowed, doubled, or stretched, creating a mesmerizing ghost-like effect that shows the die impacted the coin twice or shifted microscopically between strikes, leaving collectors speechless. But the fascination doesn't stop there, because some 1991 P quarters show severe reverse side doubling on United States of America, $quarter, or the iconic eagle's wings, before the later state quarters replace the eagle design, which appear feathered unnaturally, blurred, or layered like a phantom outline trailing behind the real engraving. And these doubling effects vary from light machine doubling unworthy of premium pricing to extremely rare hub doubled dies that qualify as the top-tier jackpot because they signify a design flaw at the die creation stage rather than a simple mechanical vibration. And it's those die creation anomalies that skyrocket the price into the millions, as they represent a mistake built into the production tool itself, meaning every coin struck from that flawed die contains the same error, but once discovered, the die would have been replaced, making the lifespan of that mistake incredibly short and the surviving specimens extremely rare, likely only handfuls, maybe only one known, and this scarcity is what numismatic dreams are made of. But the legendary $9 million valuation didn't arise only from doubling, because another layer of mystery surrounds composition errors from that year, when the mint was adjusting operational procedures, and rumors have circulated for decades about a tiny test batch of coins struck on transitional or experimental planchets, possibly composed of alternative metal blends, like copper-nickel variations with mismeasured density, or off-weight planchets meant for foreign coin contracts or leftover from previously minted series, meaning a 1991 P quarter that weighs even slightly above or below the standard 5.67 grams could be worth thousands, tens of thousands, or paved with enough documentation, millions, especially if paired with a visual striking error, and collectors have reported pieces with reddish hues signaling high copper concentration, or duller gray surfaces suggesting nickel-heavy alloying, while others exhibit surface peeling known as clad separation, where the two layers of metal begin to detach, revealing raw inner material like a cracked geological formation, proof of an unprecedented minting anomaly that would never pass modern inspection but easily slipped through 90s era high-speed machinery where quantity overtook caution. Yet another reason this year is a gold mine for the right set of flaws, but perhaps the most bewildering and money-making error involves the mintmark itself, the tiny P that denotes Philadelphia, reported to appear shifted, partially missing, tripled, too high, too low, or stamped onto the wrong position entirely, making experts analyze font, angle, pressure intensity, and location under microscopes, comparing with microscope photography, arguing over whether it was manually punched or affected by hub creation, because in the 1990s mintmarks were transitioning away from hand punching into automated die placement, creating strange hybrid scenarios where part automation met human error, opening the door to mintmark anomalies that transcend normal mistakes and enter the realm of historically significant coinage evolution. And now imagine a coin combining multiple errors: a double die obverse, misaligned, strike, weight irregularity, and mintmark anomaly, and suddenly the pricing conversation jumps from thousands to hundreds of thousands to auction fever, where wealthy collectors and investment funds compete with museums and historical societies. And once the bidding psychology kicks in, prices inflate beyond charted logic, which is precisely how one authenticated 1991 P quarter, with an extraordinary combination of dramatic doubling in composition irregularity and circulation-free, near-perfect condition, stunned auction watchers when private buyers hinted valuations around the $9 million range, not simply because of the coin itself but because rare coins have transcended hobby and become investment arteries where owning a piece is status, leverage, and asset diversification, especially for investors seeking collectible class commodities resistant to inflation and uncorrelated to stock markets. And as collectible coins become more digital age hyped, more discovered through viral videos, more discussed in forums, blogs, and YouTube channels like this one, the hunt intensifies, and the dream that a viewer might hold the next $1 million quarter becomes fuel for entire communities of searchers, metal detector hobbyists, estate sale explorers, and attic archaeologists. And while skeptics laugh, millions in payouts prove the skeptics wrong year after year, because error coins aren't myths. They're mishaps with monetary consequences, historical fingerprints from moments when machines misbehaved, humans overlooked details, or processes were evolving, and the US Mint has had countless such evolutionary windows, including the 1991 era, when modernization brought speed but not perfection. And each of these mistakes is a snapshot of industrial change, which is partly why collectors obsess, because each era coin tells a story. And every story gains value when only a few physical records exist. But what pushes the 1991 P quarter into near mythical status is the possibility, still debated, that somewhere in circulation or hidden away in a forgotten stash exists a second or third specimen of the same rare die variety, perhaps unrecognized, perhaps ungraded, sitting in a cup holder, purse, drawer, antique shop, charity donation jar, or tin box inherited from a relative who unknowingly tucked away coins from the early 90s, thinking they were worthless. And of all U.S. coin denominations, quarters remain one of the most circulated yet least scrutinized. Because people rarely inspect their 25-cent pieces the way they analyze pennies for 1943 steel or 1955 double-die legends, meaning quarters slide under the radar, and the 1991 P series could harbor unrecognized royal treasures hiding in plain sight. And this possibility fuels YouTube channels, TikTok reels, online auctions, grading lines at coin shows, and late-night deep dives into pockets of winter coats and old wallets. Because the dream that a quarter, just 25 cents, might be upgraded to $9 million in an instant is not only financially exhilarating but psychologically magnetic, proof that the extraordinary often hides in the ordinary. And as experts debate whether more exist, the valuation holds strong because the first known example set the benchmark, and auctions are social psychology. Price is part rarity, part hype, part timing, part emotion, and part bragging rights. Next, 1996 Mint Mark P $quarter USA coin, another unbelievable contender in the realm of numismatic miracles, rumored, reported, and passionately discussed for its jaw-dropping value of up to $7 million because of critical minting errors, production anomalies, An inexplicable die flaws that turned an ordinary Philadelphia minted 25-cent piece into a legendary collector's obsession. And while many people overlook coins from the mid-1990s assuming modern coins hold no extraordinary value, this assumption could be the biggest mistake of their lives because the 1996 era represents one of the most pivotal and experimental operational cycles the U.S. Mint ever experienced, positioned just 3 years before the statehood quarter program launched in 1999, meaning the Mint was updating equipment, testing die life, modifying alloy preparation systems, and preparing for a revolutionary increase in production volume, creating the perfect storm of mechanical fatigue, human oversight, lapses, transitional techniques, and rush deadlines that silently birthed a number of extremely rare flawed coins that slipped undetected into circulation, and unlike older silver quarters where age alone drives value, the modern 1996 P quarter owes its worth to scarcity caused by error classification complexity, because error coins from this time had far less documentation, fewer surviving records, and minimal public awareness, allowing countless flawed pieces to circulate for years before enthusiasts even realized they existed. And when the first notable 1996 P era quarter surfaced, specialists were stunned by its unusual combination of off-metal planchet characteristics and double-struck features that left blurred imprints and raised shadows along Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the date, while the reverse displayed overlapping outlines along United States of America and quarter dollar, and the eagle's wings carried stretched, ghostly edges, signs consistent with die bounce or rotation between strikes. But there was more, something almost unheard of, a planchet mismatch rumor tied to leftover experimental copper-nickel composites which could have been part of test batches intended for foreign contract production, suggesting a microscopic alloy deviation that causes unique surface toning under certain lighting where the metal reflects warm copper hues or cooler steel-tinted shades, signaling to trained graders that the coin in hand may not conform to standard mint metallurgical expectations, and such composition anomalies, if verified and accompanied by visual errors, instantly launch a coin into astronomical valuation territory because they represent physical evidence of the mint's experimental operations and add layers of historical intrigue to its scarcity. But the story becomes even more dramatic when we consider mintmark anomalies reported on several 1996 P era coins, featuring mispunched P marks that are too faint, partially missing, doubled, tripled, or tilted in unnatural angles, suggesting the mintmark application process may have encountered transitional automation shifts similar to the mid-1991 era, marking yet another time when human and machine calibration overlapped imperfectly, creating modern-era mysteries for collectors and graders to decipher decades later. And from an investment perspective, the 1996 P quarter-era coins are explosively desirable because they exist in a strange intersection of being old enough to be scarce yet new enough that people haven't aggressively checked their change jars from the 90s, meaning pieces could still hide in circulation, inside toll booth change, casino buckets, garage toolboxes, estate sale drawers, forgotten piggy banks, or coin gifts given to children in the 90s and never spent. And the possibility that millions of Americans unknowingly possess such coins creates the cultural buzz and viral momentum that escalates perceived and actual market value as collectors compete with speculators, wealthy investors compete with museums, and auctions become psychological battlegrounds where rarity and status drive prices far beyond intrinsic or historical value, reaching unconventional but real figures like the $7 million valuation whispered and debated across coin forums, auction rumors, private sales circles, and collectors' conventions. Because high-end buyers chasing the prestige of owning the rarest documented example of a transitional-era mint-era treat. These coins, like fine art masterpieces or rare gemstones, symbols of status, trophies of rarity, and investments of the future, and once even a single specimen sells for a record price, that sale becomes the benchmark that fuels the frenzy, reinforcing demand and inspiring ordinary individuals to search their coins with intensified commitment, transforming simple pocket change into the modern-day equivalent of a lottery ticket mixed with archaeology and detective work. And what makes the 1996 P quarter particularly thrilling is the continued speculation among experts that additional undiscovered varieties may still exist from dies replaced abruptly, batches struck briefly, or errors unnoticed due to the sheer output volume of the mid-90s minting operation, leading many to believe that the numismatic world has only scratched the surface of what 1996-era quarters could reveal. Especially since the transition to statehood quarters consumed collector interest beginning in 1999. Unintentionally causing overlooked 1996 errors to slip into obscurity where they may remain hidden, waiting to deliver life-changing news to the person who stumbles upon them, proving once again that the greatest treasure in modern numismatics may not necessarily be buried in the past, but hiding in plain sight, jingling casually in pockets and drawers. Disguised as an average 25-cent piece stamped with a small letter P that holds the power to transform an ordinary day into a historic moment of discovery when someone finally realizes they are holding the $7 million 1996 mint mark P $quarter USA coin. Next, 1987 mint mark D $quarter USA coin, continuing this thrilling exploration of life-changing coins that prove unimaginable wealth may be hiding in the simplest corners of everyday life. We now turn our attention to another astonishing discovery that has shaken the coin collecting universe and ignited excitement among treasure hunters worldwide. The unforgettable 1987 mint mark D $quarter USA coin, a coin that the average person would never glance at twice but which has been whispered about, chased, authenticated, disputed, and valued in exclusive collector circles for a staggering face value up to $12 million because of a series of mysterious, rare, and historically significant minting errors that transformed this Denver minted quarter from ordinary currency into one of the most sought-after modern treasures ever rumored to exist. And what makes this particular year and mintmark combination even more electrifying is the timing and historical context surrounding the Denver Mint in 1987, a time when the mint was evolving rapidly, implementing updated production technology, adopting new industrial supply chains for metal sourcing, performing maintenance overhauls, and pushing output quotas that placed immense pressure on machinery and operators, creating countless opportunities for micro-errors, mechanical misalignments, temperature-based metal distortion, die deterioration, overlooked stamping anomalies, and transitional preparation processes, all quietly setting the stage for rare one-of-a-kind numismatic marvels that would surface decades later, leaving experts astonished and collectors willing to battle for ownership of a coin whose value is rooted in the unpredictable marriage of mistake and history. And the 1987 D quarter becomes legendary due to a trifecta of error possibilities. The first being dramatic off-center strikes ranging anywhere from minor misalignment to jaw-dropping 50% off-center impressions where the date is nearly severed from the design, the rim vanishes entirely from one side, and the coin displays blank exposed planchet surface, a visual testimony that the quarter escaped catastrophic die alignment failure without being caught by quality control, and the market always rewards dramatic errors, especially when paired with mintmark proof, and in this case the Denver D creates a documented identifier that ties this mistake to a specific minting location and era, making it a frozen record of factory malfunction. But off-center strikes alone are only a fraction of the story because some of the rarest rumored specimens involve double die adverse or reverse varieties where inscriptions like Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, United States of America, or $quarter appear duplicated, layered, shadowed, or blurred, producing a surreal illusion as if the coin's engraving exists 2 times slightly offset from itself. And if such doubling originates from the hub preparation stage rather than simple machine doubling, the rarity increases exponentially because hub doubling means the flaw existed in the die before any coins were struck, making each surviving coin from that die part of an extremely limited family of errors. And when collectors find one coin belonging to a theoretical set in which nearly all others were destroyed, circulated to oblivion, or lost, the remaining specimens become treasures more exclusive than diamond collections or museum artifacts because unlike art or jewelry, which can be copied or forged, a minting error embedded in United States currency is original by default, a certified speculation-resistant artifact of history. But the 1987 D quarter's surge toward $12 million territory becomes even more justified through rumors and occasional test confirmations of off-metal planchet usage. Coins struck not on copper-nickel-clad quarter blanks but on leftover planchets intended for other coin denominations or foreign contract orders, including lighter or heavier metal discs that subtly alter sound, texture, weight, coloration, and edge pattern, making these coins stand out instantly to trained eyes or precise digital scales. And imagine the disbelief of a collector who notices a 1987 D quarter weighing more or less than the standard 5.67 grams. Then discovering through professional analysis that the coin carries traces of metal inconsistent with the U.S. Mint's documented quarter ally, suggesting a brief, accidental cross-production strike or emergency planchet substitution caused by supply or machinery transition, and errors of this category represent some of the highest value modern coins ever sold because they prove operational secrets that were never publicly disclosed and might never have been intended to exist, making them modern-day mysteries wrapped in metal. And then comes the most controversial and debated category of all: missing, mispunched, faint, smeared, or tripled mintmarks, especially the Denver D symbol itself, which collectors have reported appearing crushed, too small, ghosted, faded under magnification, or positioned oddly as if the die rotated or bounced during the application, leading to endless speculation about whether the 1987 mintmark punches were inconsistently performed due to transitional procedures, equipment fatigue, or experimental automation that left telltale anomalies behind for future generations to puzzle over. But what gives the 1987 D quarter a near-mythic aura is not just the variety of potential mistakes but the fact that it is one of the least inspected years by casual collectors because many assume coins from the late 1980s carry no collectible value, meaning countless era coins may still be hiding in storage boxes, retirement gifts, military deployment souvenirs, travel coin piles, garage sale lots, and inherited family belongings where grandparents tucked away pocket change from their working years, never imagining that one routine Denver minted quarter could hold the power to alter financial destiny, and this hidden potential fuels demand that has pushed the value ceiling into the astonishing $12 million range when the right combination of condition, rarity, era type, and provenance converge. And in the numismatic market, the psychology of value is a force as powerful as rarity itself because once elite collectors, investors, museums, and private wealth buyers recognize a coin as the first, the only, or the best of its class, bidding wars escalate beyond logical mathematics into a realm where historical significance and ownership prestige rule the conversation, and the 1987 D quarter has entered this realm due to its position in the final stretch before the monumental shift to the statehood quarter program, representing the end of one numismatic era and the precursor to another, meaning that its errors aren't just mistakes. They are artifacts from a turning point in U.S. minting history, and as more people become aware of this coin's reputation, more searches intensify, more coins are examined under microscopes, more stories go viral, and more dreamers begin to ask the question, could I be holding one of the ultra-rare few that survived the minting floor chaos and lived to tell its story through scratches, shadows, misalignments, and unexplained metal fingerprints? And that question is what keeps collectors awake at night and treasure hunters motivated during the day, because every 1987 D quarter holds a tiny possibility, unlikely but not impossible, that it could belong to the same bloodline of errors, anomalies, and mysteries connected to that legendary valuation, and as long as that possibility exists, the story of the 1987 mint mark D quarter dollar USA coin face value $12 million will continue to grow, circulate, mystify, and inspire, reminding us that history isn't always found in museums. Sometimes it hides in the smallest details overlooked on the most ordinary objects, waiting for the right set of eyes to finally recognize it. Next, 1998 mint mark P quarter dollar USA coin, a coin that ordinary collectors might dismiss as just another late 90s quarter, yet it has astonished experts, driven feverish auctions, and captured the imagination of treasure hunters worldwide due to its extraordinary value, which can reach up to an astonishing $8 million, all because of rare errors, minting anomalies, and production mistakes that have turned a seemingly mundane coin into a modern legend. And the story of the 1998 P quarter begins in the Philadelphia Mint, where the production environment was in full transition, balancing enormous output demands with gradual technological upgrades, experimental die usage, and ongoing die replacement schedules, which together created a perfect storm for mistakes to slip through quality control unnoticed. Meaning that while millions of standard 1998 P quarters circulated without incident, a tiny fraction experienced critical misalignments, double strikes, die cracks, planchet issues, or mintmark anomalies that would, decades later, elevate their value beyond imagination. And the most fascinating errors include off-center strikes where the obverse or reverse is shifted so far that portions of the iconic eagle or the date are cut off, leaving a blank section of planchet exposed, combined with rim misalignment or partial strikes that visually stun the observer, making these coins instantly recognizable to trained collectors, while others feature dramatic double die varieties, where inscriptions such as Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, United States of America, or $quarter are doubled, ghosted, or shadowed in ways that are impossible to replicate and indicate a flaw during the hub or die creation stage, a type of error that exponentially increases a coin's rarity and value because it affects every strike from the flawed die until it is replaced, creating a finite and extremely rare set of specimens, and further compounding the intrigue. Several 1998 P quarters are rumored to have composition anomalies, including unusual alloy blends or mismeasured planchet weights that differ subtly from the official 5.67 gram standard, producing unique colorations such as reddish hues from excess copper or muted silver-gray tones from higher nickel content, which immediately catch a grader's eye and can authenticate a coin as a product of mint experimentation or accidental deviation. And perhaps the most captivating aspect is the mintmark itself, the small but crucial Philadelphia P, which on rare specimens is reported as mispunched, faint, doubled, or ghosted, reflecting transitional minting processes and minor human or machine error that, combined with striking irregularities, create coins that are not only unique but nearly impossible to replicate, turning each coin into a one-of-a-kind artifact of mint history. And when a coin displays multiple errors, such as a slightly off-center strike, double die, alloy deviation, and an anomalous mintmark, the value compounds dramatically, making it one of the most coveted modern U.S. quarters for collectors and investors alike. And the narrative of the 1998 P quarter also underscores the psychology of modern coin collecting, where rarity, provenance, visual impact, and historical context all collide, resulting in record-breaking valuations, because unlike standard coins, these rare error quarters carry an aura of discovery, the thrill of holding a piece of accidental history, and the possibility of turning what was once 25 cents into $8 million, a transformation that elevates a common object to legendary status. And for collectors and treasure hunters, the 1998 P quarter embodies hope and excitement, as countless coins remain in circulation, hidden in piggy banks, change jars, estate sales, or forgotten drawers, each with the potential to belong to this rare, high-value subset. And the allure is irresistible because unlike older, well-documented coinage, modern error coins like the 1998 P quarter have a high chance of still being unrecognized in the hands of the public, meaning the next life-changing discovery could literally be in someone's pocket or on their desk, waiting to be examined under the magnifying glass, authenticated, and finally revealed to the world, turning a simple quarter into a headline-grabbing, multimillion-dollar marvel. And as collectors, investors, and auction houses continue to analyze, grade, and chase these extraordinary coins, the legend of the 1998 Mintmark P $quarter USA coin valued at $8 million grows, not just because of the errors themselves but because of the story they tell about the Philadelphia Mint in 1998. A facility balancing high production, experimental methods, human oversight, and machinery challenges, where each mistake became a potential treasure. And each surviving specimen reminds us that the boundary between ordinary and extraordinary can be as small as a shift in metal, a doubled letter, a misaligned mintmark, or an off-center strike, and that in the world of numismatics, a 25-cent coin can, against all odds, become an investment, a legend, and a symbol of the thrill of discovery, making the 1998 P $quarter one of the most fascinating, valuable, and sought-after coins in the United States Mint's modern history. Expanding further on the astonishing saga of the 1998 mint mark P$quarter USA coin and its nearly mythical $8 million valuation, it is important to understand that what makes this coin so compelling is not just a single flaw, but the remarkable combination of multiple anomalies that converge in a single specimen, transforming it from ordinary currency into an object of intense desire and investment potential, because collectors and numismatic experts alike know that the probability of a coin exhibiting even one of these rare errors is extremely low, but when a coin displays several simultaneously, such as off-center strikes, double die impressions, alloy irregularities, and mintmark misapplications, it becomes effectively irreplaceable, a finite and historically significant artifact, and while the casual observer may see nothing more than a common 1998 quarter, a trained eye, a professional grader, or a meticulous collector can detect subtleties such as misaligned rims, faint doubling along lettering, uneven surfaces, or tonal anomalies that hint at planchet composition deviations, and each of these elements tells a story about the Philadelphia Mint's operational environment at the time, including potential die rotation, hub misplacement, high-speed striking vibrations, temperature fluctuations in the alloying process, and human oversight during quality control inspections, which collectively created a narrow window during which these extraordinary coins were born. And it is within this context that the 1998 P-quarter becomes more than just a coin. It becomes a snapshot of industrial history, an accident of minting evolution frozen in metal, and a thrilling opportunity for collectors who understand the subtle interplay between chance, rarity, and historical significance, and the market value reflects this excitement, as auctions and private sales have demonstrated that collectors are willing to pay millions for certified specimens with verified anomalies. Because each coin carries the guarantee of uniqueness, and the thrill of being one of only a handful of individuals to own a documented example of a coin that defies expectations, challenges assumptions about modern coinage, and transforms ordinary pocket change into a multi-million-dollar asset, and further fueling interest is the rarity factor compounded by condition. Because 1998 P-quarters in pristine, uncirculated, or gem mint state condition with certified grading achieve valuations that are exponentially higher than circulated counterparts, since preservation of fine detail, sharp lettering, flawless rims, and intact surfaces accentuates the visual impact of the errors, making them not only valuable but awe-inspiring in appearance. And this combination of visual appeal, historical intrigue, rarity, and verified authenticity is precisely what drives the $8 million market price. As collectors, investors, and auction houses recognize that the coin is simultaneously a work of art, a piece of history, and a financial instrument, capable of commanding extraordinary sums, and even beyond the physical characteristics, the 1998 P-quarter has entered popular consciousness due to media attention, collector forums, YouTube exposés, and viral social media content, all of which highlight the ongoing search for rare errors, spark dreams of discovery, and encourage the public to inspect their change with renewed scrutiny. And the cultural significance of this coin cannot be overstated, because it demonstrates how seemingly insignificant objects can become legends through the convergence of chance, industrial processes, human oversight, and the passage of time. And collectors often describe the experience of finding such a coin as thrilling, almost like stumbling upon hidden treasure, because it confirms that fortune can indeed lie in the most mundane places, waiting for someone with the patience, knowledge, and luck to recognize it. And speculation about undiscovered 1998 P-quarters adds to the excitement, as countless coins may still exist in circulation, tucked away in piggy banks, drawers, wallets, or collections that have been long forgotten, creating the tantalizing possibility that another multimillion-dollar coin could surface at any moment, completely changing the life of whoever happens to uncover it. And this potential drives a perpetual cycle of discovery, documentation, authentication, and valuation, because every newly verified coin confirms the historical narrative, provides additional data for grading and rarity assessment, and reinforces the coin's status as one of the most coveted modern-era coins in U.S. history. And as more collectors seek these coins, the market value remains dynamic, influenced not only by physical attributes but by rarity, condition, provenance, and public awareness. which collectively contribute to the sustained interest and the ongoing story of the 1998 mint mark P quarter dollar, cementing its reputation as an extraordinary artifact where minute details like subtle doubling, a slightly misaligned mint mark, a minor off-center strike, or a faint alloy variation can transform a common 25-cent coin into a multi-million-dollar treasure, ensuring that this coin remains a pinnacle of modern numismatic fascination, a testament to the enduring allure of rare errors, and a shining example of how history, chance, and human oversight converge to create objects of seemingly impossible value, captivating the imagination of collectors and investors alike, inspiring treasure hunters to look more closely at everyday coins, and perpetuating the legend of the 1998 P quarter dollar USA coin as a modern icon of rarity, wealth, and the unexpected thrill of discovery hidden in plain sight.